Hi guys, my name's Barry
And I'm Jack.
and welcome back to the channel. As you know, we'll be doing all the X-Men universe movies. We're going to be trying to do little mini reviews, not full reviews for the films. We're just going to answer a few questions on the X-Men films. We've just done X-Men, now we're on to X-Men 2 or X2, X-Men United from 2003. And initial thoughts on the film, I feel like it was a bit of an improvement on the first one, especially with the CGI. I know it's only 3 years difference, but sometimes you can get a massive difference between the year 2000 and the year 2003, especially for you being younger, because the newer a movie gets, the more relatable they are to you. And I feel the same as well. Like a movie from 1970 is not really relatable, but a movie from 1973, even though it's only 3 years later, can have a bit more of an impact on me. And I think it's similar to you as well.
Yeah.
But overall, before we tell our overall thoughts on X-Men 2, what were you expecting to see in X-Men 2 differently to what you saw in X-Men? Like, were you hoping to see more characters, a bigger story?
Yeah, I thought we were going to see way more characters actually, because in the first one we only got to see 4 X-Men, was it? That thing in the big fights at the end?
Yeah, there was only like 4 or 5
Yeah.
characters that had a big fight. So
Yeah.
so in this one, there's a lot more
Yeah.
people fighting
Lot
throughout
more.
it. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll start with our worst characters in the X-Men films. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
You go first. Okay. Who's your worst character?
For me, it was easily Cyclops. Easily. He kept going on about the Wolverine and
Jean Grey.
Jean Grey, about you're stealing my girlfriend and stuff, she's mine and stuff, and he didn't.
She's my boy.
And like he didn't do much. He didn't do really anything, did he? Apart from trying to kill them when he got hypnotized. That was really it. All he done.
Yeah, well, I think I'm just going to have to agree with you there, Jack, because I feel like Cyclops was my worst one. I know in the last video we said maybe Rogue and Toad were the
Yeah.
worst in that one, but with X-Men 1, I feel like Cyclops was nearly at the bottom of my list, but in this one, he definitely is. I think all the characters that were in the first one, that were in the second one, were a little bit better than they were in the first one. They all improved, apart from Cyclops. I feel like Cyclops didn't improve. He didn't have much to do in X-Men 1, and I feel like he had very little to do in X-Men 2, but moan about Wolverine wanting Jean Grey, and that's felt like that was his only purpose in X-Men 2. So unfortunately for me, Cyclops is also the worst. Also, before we move on to our best characters, Cyclops in the comics and the cartoons and the trading cards, he's one of the best X-Men. He's one of the strongest X-Men as well.
Really?
Yeah. But in these X-Men films, it's almost like he's nothing. All he does is whine and moan. Okay, so we'll move on to the best characters. You go first again.
For me, I loved Mystique in this one. I don't know why. It's just I think her powerful is just really useful, and when they seemed like they were working together, she done a really good job, and like she's really good at fighting and stuff, and I thought they used her really well in this film, and I think she was a massive upgrade from the first one.
Yeah, I liked the bit where, remember, she put the metal inside that guy's bum?
Oh yeah, that was funny.
And then, because I thought she was going to pretend to be him.
Yeah, same. That's what I thought.
Yeah, and then she obviously put the metal in his bum, and then he went into the plastic jail.
Yeah.
And then it was a good scene when Magneto was like, had too much iron in your bloodstream or something, and then he took the thing out. Yeah, so Mystique was your best then?
Yeah, she was my best.
Yeah. Okay, my best character, and I didn't want to say this because it felt like it would be too obvious, but my favourite character in X-Men 2 is Wolverine. Because I did remember back in the day that I felt like people loved Wolverine more than they should. I don't know if it was just me being young because I was a teenager at the time, but going back and watching it, Hugh Jackman really is Wolverine through and through. And X-Men, he was great as Wolverine in X-Men, but I just didn't feel like he was my favourite. Whereas in X-Men 3, he was a huge upgrade. I think he was brilliant. He bulked up a wee bit as well, so he was a bit more muscly, and he had a bigger role. So yeah, I think Wolverine for me is far out for me the favourite. However, I didn't even think of Mystique until you said it, but I really did like Mystique as well. But for me, Wolverine just pips that top spot.
Dad, you said X-Men 3.
Did I? Whereas in X-Men 3, he was a huge upgrade. I think he was brilliant. He bulked up a wee bit as well, so he was a bit more muscly. Okay, Jack, so we'll move on to our best scene in X-Men 2. So what was your best scene?
I thought this was one of the greatest Marvel opening scenes ever to a film, and that was the Nightcrawler scene when he attacked the White House. I thought, like, especially introducing a new character into one of these movies was really good. like the action scenes in this was so cool, and the way they teleported around the White House attacking them was so good.
Yeah, I really like that scene as well because I didn't know who it was to begin with when I first watched this film, because Nightcrawler wasn't in X-Men 1. When you just seen this person kind of disappearing, and straight away I was like, well, it must be Nightcrawler because I like the cartoons and I like the cards and stuff like that. So I figured out who it was, but I didn't know who it was to begin with. Did you know who it was to begin with? No, you're just like, who is? Because I think, I can't remember if you'd said this, but when we watched it, did you not say something like, is that Mystique or something? Because you saw the blue skin?
Oh no, I said was it Beast?
Oh, Beast, that's right, because he was at the White House and the Beast
Yeah.
works at the White House. So yeah, Jack thought it was Beast. So straight away you're like, who is that? And then as soon as it starts disappearing and appearing, it's great. And the CGI
Yeah, it
was really good.
really
The film's 21-year-old, and that's great CGI. And when you look at films today, some of the CGI looks dodgy. Whereas that, for a 21-year-old film, is good. Not only do they make the CGI look good for him disappearing, some of the slow motion scenes were pretty good as well, weren't they?
And do you know also I thought Nightcrawler was going to be a bad guy.
Yeah.
Because he looked really scary as well.
And
didn't
he was obviously attacking everybody
Yeah.
in the White House as well. So we thought, oh, what's happening here? So yeah, really good scene. So my best scene is a scene that I still love to this day. I remember watching this one back in the day and loving the scene. And then when I was watching it with you, I was looking forward to that scene again to see how you felt about it. And that was the Lady Deathstrike versus Wolverine scene. I just loved the whole interaction between Stryker and Wolverine leading up to that, because when Stryker was talking to Wolverine with Lady Deathstrike behind them, or her name was Yuriko, I think her name is, he said to Wolverine,
I used to think you were one of a kind, Wolverine. I was wrong.
then
Yeah.
she just does that, and I was like, oh my god. And then the music, the music and the fight scenes were brilliant. And see that scene where he stabs her in the stomach,
Yeah.
and then she grabs his arms and she starts climbing up his body.
Yeah,
I was like, because it sounded like the Terminator music. It was going doo, 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 doo. Then she just kicks back. I was like, oh, brilliant. So not only was that my favourite scene, that was probably my favourite fight in the film as well. And see when she crawls under him on the cage and she starts doing that
Oh, yeah.
fast.
Oh, I
He's
know.
like, ah. I was like, oh, I could actually feel that when it was
I
happening.
thought she died when
When she went into the water to start with,
I
yeah.
thought she died.
Yeah, she was some heavy woman after that. Remember when they put the adamantium in her whole body,
Oh,
and she
yeah.
just fell out on the floor. That was it. So yeah, if she was still alive, she'd probably be the most powerful mutant ever, because she'd have all that adamantium in her. But obviously, her body can't heal the way Wolverine's does. Or I guess not.
Yeah.
So that's how she died. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was my best scene. So final thoughts on X-Men 2. I'll go first this time. So final thoughts for me is I feel like it was a big upgrade to X-Men for
Yeah.
definite. I remember loving it a lot more back in the day, and nothing's changed, to be honest. X-Men still a respectable film, a respectable beginning
Yeah.
to the X-Men franchise, but I felt like what they had to do with X-Men 2 is exactly what they've done. They gave us a bigger cast,
Yeah, way bigger.
more characters, better acting, even from the actors who were brought forward from X-Men 1. And they built upon some of the characters like Bobby, Iceman.
Yeah.
His relationship with Rogue. Pyro as well. Forgot about Pyro. The Flame Boy.
Oh yeah, Pyro.
Yeah, he was brilliant in X-Men 2 as well. A good introduction to him, because we thought, oh, he looks like he could turn. Didn't he? Because he looked like he was going to turn. And remember when he was talking to Magneto, he's like, so they say you're the bad guy. He's like, so that's what they say. And you could just tell, you're like, you're going to be a bad guy at one point.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see, maybe we will, but I just wanted to see Pyro versus Iceman.
Oh, that
Like
would be really
fire
good.
and ice coming together. So yeah, thoughts on X-Men 2 for me is massive upgrade from X-Men 1, which was essential. So what's your final thoughts?
Just what he said, I thought it was a massive upgrade. I love this one way more than the first one. I thought it was way more action, and I love the new characters they introduced and the build up to characters as well, getting to know them better. I thought it was really good on how they done it, and it was a good second film.
Also, it's weird because the bad guy in the first movie was Magneto, who was a mutant. The
Yeah.
bad guy in this film was Stryker, who was a human. And it's funny because Stryker being a human, you would think, oh, that's going to be rubbish.
Yeah.
But he was actually a really, not powerful, but he was a really good bad guy because of his backstory. He had a son called Jason, who was a failed mutation, and Professor X couldn't help him. So Stryker's got something to fight for. Also, Stryker was responsible for Wolverine, which you'll find out in Wolverine Origins. So Stryker plays a younger character, but we'll talk about that then. But Stryker obviously was responsible for the way Wolverine is just now. So there's a really good backstory that we don't know about yet, which adds a lot more layers to an already great film. So yeah, X-Men 2, it's better. Now, we shouldn't do this with every video because people will then find out a ranking.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't do that.
So we'll let you know just now, guys. X-Men 2 is going to be above X-Men in our ranking. That's a good teaser for you, but we won't tell you the next one if we feel like it's better or worse because you'll be able to figure it out yourself. So sorry about that. So that's all for X-Men 2, guys. Look out for X-Men The Last Stand, which is X-Men 3 in the next video. But anyway, guys, thanks a lot for watching again. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Meeting adjourned.
Be right back!
What are you waiting for, huh?
Coming to get you, Barbara.
Ever played Skin the Cat?
Someone's in the back!